In 2014, a 92-year-old man died in a small town in Vermont. His name was Ronald Red. He fixed cars at a gas station for 25 years, then swept floors at a JCPenney for 17 more. He bought a 2-bedroom house for $12,000 and lived in it his whole life. When he died, his estate was worth $8 million. It made national news. Around the same time, a Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive named Richard Fuscone, a man who retired in his 40s, was going bankrupt. His 18,000-square-foot mansion, with 2 elevators and 2 pools, sold at auction for 75% off, though a janitor with no training beat one of the best-educated finance executives in America. In no other field is that even possible. You will never read a story about a janitor performing better heart surgery than a Harvard surgeon. Money is different. That pair of stories opens The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a former Wall Street Journal columnist and one of the best-selling money books of the decade. Its whole argument fits in one sentence. Doing well with money has a little to do with how smart you are, and a lot to do with how you behave. It is not a math skill, it is a soft skill, and the book is 19 short chapters of proof, using some of the strangest stories in finance. Start with the one that keeps rich people humble: luck and risk. In 1968, Bill Gates went to Lakeside School, one of the only high schools on the planet with a computer, because one teacher decided to buy a $3,000 teletype machine. Gates said it himself: no Lakeside, no Microsoft. Housel runs the numbers, roughly a 1 in a million piece of luck. But Lakeside had another computer genius, Gates' best friend Kent Evans, every bit as talented, planning the future right next to him. Kent died in a mountaineering accident before graduation. Same school, same brains, same odds, opposite direction. Luck and risk are siblings, and neither one cares about your resume. So the lesson is not, you can't succeed. It is, judge less. When things go perfectly, you got lucky somewhere. When they collapse, some of it was never in your control. Plan accordingly. Now the engine of the whole book, compounding. Warren Buffett is worth about $84 billion, as Housel writes. Here is the number nobody quotes. $81.5 billion of it came after his 65th birthday. Buffett is not just a great investor, he is a great investor who started at age 10 and never stopped. Housel's line is perfect. His skill is investing, but his secret is time. Want proof? It's the time and not the talent. Jim Simons, the mathematician behind Renaissance Technologies, has compounded money at 66% a year since 1988, triple Buffett's rate, the best record in history, and he is 75% less rich than Buffett. Why? He did not hit his stride until his 50s. Compounding is not about big returns. It is about decent returns you never interrupt, for an absurdly long time. The janitor understood that. 70 years of boring blue chip stocks. But making money, it turns out, is only half the skill. Keeping it is a different one entirely. Getting wealthy takes optimism and risk. Staying wealthy takes paranoia and frugality. Housel's exhibit A, Rajat Gupta, an orphan from Kolkata who climbed to running McKinsey, worth about $100 million. He wanted to be a billionaire, so he passed inside information about Goldman Sachs to a hedge fund friend minutes after a board call and went to prison. Exhibit B, Bernie Madoff, whose legitimate business, before the fraud, was making him as much as $50 million a year. Both men already had everything. They risked what they had for something they did not need. Which brings us to the shortest, sharpest idea in the book. The writers Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller are at a billionaire's party in the Hamptons. Vonnegut points out that their host, a hedge fund manager, makes more money in a day than Heller's novel Catch-22 earned in its entire history. And Heller says, yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough. Housel calls it the hardest financial skill, getting the goalpost to stop moving. Gupta could not do it. A janitor from Vermont could. Here is the idea that should lower your blood pressure. Tails drive everything. Heinz Berggruen fled Nazi Germany as a young man and became one of the greatest art collectors who ever lived. A collection of Picassos and Matisse worth over $1 billion. Genius eye, right? Not exactly. Berggruen bought art in bulk. Huge quantities for decades. A tiny handful of pieces turned out to be masterpieces. The rest, filler. Most of what Disney made lost money too. Then Snow White paid for everything. You can be wrong half the time and still make a fortune in art, in business, in investing, which means a few bad calls do not make you a failure. They make you normal. And now, the twist of the knife, the reason the janitor stayed invisible until his funeral. Wealth is what you do not see. The sports car is not evidence of wealth. It is evidence that the driver had money once, and now has a car. Real wealth is the car not bought, the upgrade skipped, income you saved instead of displayed. It is literally invisible, which is why nobody copies it. And Housel adds the man in the car paradox. When you see someone in a Ferrari, you do not think, wow, that guy is impressive. You think, if I had that car, people would think I am impressive. Nobody is looking at the driver. Everyone is dreaming about the seat. You are buying admiration from people who are not even looking at you. So what is money actually for? Housel's answer is the best sentence in the book. Controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. Not the house, not the car. The ability to wake up and say, I will do what I want today. Every dollar you save is a piece of your future schedule that nobody else owns. Which is why the book Savings Advice has no spreadsheet in it. Save. Just save. You do not need a specific reason to save, because the reason will find you, and it will not call ahead. Housel calls it room for error, planning on your plan not going according to plan. 1. Honest caveat. The book's history is very American, a century where the market went mostly up. Housel admits history is a map, not a GPS. And the final chapter is the best confession in finance. After studying all of this, how does Housel invest? Index funds, a high savings rate, cash on hand, and a house he paid off early, even though the math said not to. His defense, I'm not trying to be coldly rational. I'm trying to sleep at night. The man who read everything picks the janitor's strategy. So, tomorrow, 1. Automate saving something. Anything. No goal required. The goal will find you. 2. Write down your number, what enough actually looks like, before the goalpost learns to walk. 3. Stop interrupting the compounding. The market will fall. That is the fee, not the fine. Stay in your seat. Because Ronald Read never learned the vocabulary. No tail events, no compounding curves, no goalpost theory. He just behaved like he knew all of it for 70 years in a $12,000 house. The mansion had 11 bathrooms and it still went 75% off. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this one, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.